Hey guys, it's the Mtgnoob here. I decided to hop into a gate crash draft. So here we go. This is a tough pack. Obviously the rare is a little too slow for the format. Mind's Eye Drake is good. This commits us to white. This is a card I kind of like a lot. I really try to avoid Simic. We have three really good black cards and one decent black-white card. If I was going to pick, I would take the Spectacle over the Glare, as it's just hard removal. I think I'm actually going to do that over the Madcap skills. I like this card a lot. Now, if I would have taken the Madcap skills, I would have snap taken this card, since I also like this card a lot. We didn't pass too much white in the last pack. We did pass a Protector. So my options are just abandon my first pick, which I tend not to like to do, or take a Guardian of the Gateless, which is a nice little flyer that I like. There's no signals we could really read from this pick, and I don't feel like going Golgari. I'm going to take a Guardian of the Gateless here. Okay, and now we have some really excellent Gruul signals and some Orzhov. I'm unfortunately passing a very strong Orzhov signal right now, but I think I can't ignore it. I think I have to take the pet here and take what my neighbor is signaling me. Okay, we could take the guards here, but I'm going to take the guild mage over it. Hopefully we wheel one of these two, maybe a psychic strike. Okay, and I'm glad I'm in Orzhov because we're getting past the nut Orzhov deck so far. Okay, here's a Skyjack and a Spy. I tend to really like the Spy. There's also a Death's Approach, like a lot. But I think Skyjack is just overall better. Not really an Orzhov. This is a tough one. We have been passing white, so I expect to get cut pack 2 from white. It's probably the Skyjack, although I do like the Spy. Spy is just really good. I think I'm going to take the Jack. Okay, and wow, that's a late call of the Nightwing. That's almost worth splashing, but since I have so many white creatures, I think I'm just going to snatch up the Denizen over an Aerial Maneuvers and Call of the Nightwing. I mean, Call of the Nightwing's really good, but I'm not a big fan of the Esper. And of course, now I could have easily played Esper. So that was probably a misplay or a mispick, but I think I'm fine with that pick. We do have a pretty good amount of white creatures. I think here I'm just going to take the Gate over a Smog Elemental. Smog Elemental's decent. This keeps us open. These last two picks have been a little bit tough for me. The Jack, then this, then the Gate versus a Smog Elemental. I feel like we could probably get another Smog Elemental and can't really get the Gate. I'm going to hedge my bets and take the Gate over the Elemental. We have a pretty good first 7 cards. I mean, maybe I should have taken the Spy over this. So here's our pack, and I think we snap take the Devour Flesh over the Nav Squad Commandos, but it does appear that somebody else is sharing our colors. Somebody picked up that Killing Glare. But I do like a heavy Orzhov deck. I think it's really a nice kind of way to play. We're not too low on creatures. We have some decent extorting creatures. So I'm pretty happy with the way the deck is going. My only mispick, in my opinion, was possibly taking the Spy over the Jack, and the Call of the Nightwing was probably a decent splash. If I knew I was going to get this, I would have snap taken it. We could also hedge our bets and maybe hope to open and assemble the Legion here. I don't really like this. I think I'm just going to hack the Massive Raid over keeping a Boros Guild Gate open. This hurts us a lot as our creatures are pretty small, but the Guild Gate... You know what, I think I'm actually going to take the Guild Gate over this in case I open something like a... This should not be here. I open a Hold the Gates or get past a Hold the Gates with 2 gates. Nothing wrong with that. Alright, I'll take the counterspell just in case we're forced to take it. Probably should have taken the Foil Island there, because that would have been nice. I don't usually like to play Riot Gear in a lot of my decks. Maybe as a 23rd playable. Currently not so much on the Riot Gear. I'd like to open an Obsidat. That would be cool. The card I don't want to open is like a Clan Defiance, because I might just have to hack that. Okay, we open a Simic Manipulator, which, geez, I wish I was in Simic. That's a pretty nifty card. It beats us up pretty good. I think we're 100% going to wheel something from this pack, even if it's just the Shadow Slice. I'm going to take the Orzhov Charm over the White of Precinct 6. I really like this. Like I said, I'm trying to build my deck for heavy removal over creatures and just try to win, although unfortunately I don't really have any good creatures, and he's either really good or not so much, so we'll see. Maybe some stuff wheels. Okay, this is probably the point where we're in the getting cut, so I'm actually going to take all of the good extorters that I can get as early as possible. Our Gruul neighbors are going to be very happy with us, though. Bat's really good. I like Bat. I like Syndic of Tides a little bit better, but Bat is pretty fantastic. Okay, here's an interesting pick. I know it's clearly just another Guild Mage. I mean, it's not really that interesting. But Truefire Paladin is just very hard. I mean, we can beat it, and off the splash it's terrible, but it's something of note. Like, we have to keep watch over the things that we're passing, because we've been passing some really decent stuff. We have also been getting past some good stuff, too. So I'm pretty happy with the deck so far. It's got 2 solid removal spells, a 3rd removal spell, which is pretty decent. This guy's got a spike coming out of his head. He doesn't play around. Okay, a lot of good stuff here. We can take a swing, we can take a mugging. Jeez, Gruul is wide open. We have 9 creatures currently, so I could see taking another Denizen here. Executioner swings you could usually get late, but I don't think anything wheels here. I'd actually like to pick up the mugging, but off of the Guildgate, it's not really accurate. I could see taking the swing here, but I'm going to take a creature. It's a really good creature. We'll have 2. If we somehow open Assemble the Legions, it's going to be the nuts. Okay, here's another Executioner swing. I really hate playing against this card. I used to think it was such a bomb, like I was all about Mind Grind originally. Now, not so much. We can play it off of the Gate Splash. It's probably not worth hacking it over an Executioner swing. Like, I'm debating. I think the pick is either one of these since we can play this. We are passing the Gruul Nut deck, by the way. So the person to our left everybody must be an Orzhov or Dimir, but this being here and this being here is sketchy. I think I'm going to take the Mind Grind. We just passed 2 Executioner swing, which isn't great signals, but I don't want to lose to a Mind Grind, and I think that's a way to do it. Okay, Keyrune here is pretty easy pick, but look at all of this red. Unfortunate. I thought we were reading the signals here. Oh, I should take the foily one. That makes sense. Okay, we did get our Hold the Gates, believe it or not. And with 2 gates, why is this here? I must admit I'm doing a swish trap, but why are you here? Death's Approach is pretty good with all this removal. 2 gates, they're both kind of off color, so I don't want to screw up my mana base to play them. I think I just take a Death's Approach. Gargoyle and Shade might wheel. I'm not a big fan of Shade, and we're leaning more white at this point, so I'll take the Death's Approach for easy removal. Here we get a Dimir Keyrune, which I think I'm going to snatch up, which allows me to access to this Mind Grind if I really want it. Okay, this is the pack that was crazy. Skills is here. Take up a Spy, that's fine. Way of the Thief wouldn't be terrible with 2 gates already. Thunderfist is a pain for us too, though. Okay, Paranoid Delusions, we could play with the Mind Grind, but I'll just, wow, this bones us, so I'll take this over a Dimir Guildgate, because we do have some flyers. I mean, it doesn't really bone us, but it bones us. Okay, none of these things should be here. I think I'll take the Massive Raid over the Keyrune. Sure. Hide red and cry that we're not in red. Not in red. Not going to be playing red unless we open Assemble Legions. Okay, so this pack I really have to start valuing creatures, because we don't have too many of them. And we don't really win. Obsidian, por favor? We don't really win with creatures. We're trying to win with Extort, but if you notice, like, a lot of the white Extort cards did not come back to us. So that's interesting to keep in mind this pack. Okay, so this is an interesting pick. I think we just windmill slam the Alms Beast, but we're kind of hoping to get back this, maybe even this, or this. Boris Elite is nice too. Another mugging to keep in mind because mugging beats the crap out of our guys. But Alms Beast is pretty much one of the guys I would like in this deck. I'm hoping my neighbor did not pick to the right, did not pick up on double Executioner's swing as a like signal, like, oh crap, this guy to my left really is in Orzhov, so I better start taking some Orzhov cards. So hopefully he stayed disciplined, which will allow us to more or less stay disciplined ourselves. This is an interesting pack. It's somewhat a blank for us in a sense where we don't really. Usually, your second pick, you're like amped to take something. The fact that we pass so much Gruul and we're not, all of this Gruul is here is just really sad. I almost want to take the Dinrova Horror over a Corpse Blockade or a Syndic Enforcer. We're a little low at the 4-drop, so I might entertain the idea of a Syndic Enforcer here. But this is such a really good card, and with 2 splash, with the ability to splash pretty easily, I might just take this over like a Corpse Blockade, an Armored Transport, or a Syndic Enforcer, hoping this wheels, because I think these are going to all go. So I'm going to snatch up the Horror, and we might be 3 colors. Okay, we have another Blockade, a Smog Elemental. I think I just snatch up this Devour Flesh, but god, everything's open. Everything is open. Smite would be really nice in the deck, but with 13 creatures, I really just want to snatch up this Gift Pet. Okay, and this is a pretty tough pick between Aristocrat and Rogue. Rogue gets it done, but with no real Cypher spells, I don't think we're going to be benefiting from that, and I'd like to take an Aristocrat for 2-drop reasons, as 2-drops in this format are pretty interesting. I do like guards a lot, but I don't think we can pass on a Smite. We have 15 creatures. One of them's a Horror, so that's a thing, and one of them's a Corpse Blockade. So we don't really have that many offensive creatures already, so taking a guards would just really be good for Exhort. Maybe we wheel the Tiger. I just take the Smite here. Okay, usually I'm not a big fan of Nav Squad, but in this deck he seems like he fits well. I'd rather have the 2/2 guys, the guys that fight each other. The Token Maker, I'm just gonna say till I remember. It's like Night Watch or something like that. I don't think we want any of this garbage. We'll probably just hate a counter spell here. Okay, this is our pack that wheeled. I take the Assault Griffin over the Enforcer, as I'm not a big fan of the Enforcer. We have a pretty decent deck, even if we don't splash the blue. Oh, this should not be here. I'm not going to play this. I think Martial Glory blows us out over the Scorchwalker, so we'll take that. Oh, if I only would have taken the gate card. Sure, we get nothing back, which is fine. Ooh, interesting. Shielded Passage is probably okay, but Beacon Apparition is very playable. Bomber Course for days. 4 days, sir. Bomber Course for days. Okay, so let's build this thing. Now, I really don't think we need to entertain the blue in the deck. I kind of like that, having that as an option, but I don't think it's necessary. Right now I'm just going to put in all of my good stuff and shift the stuff that I might not play over to the side for now. Probably playing Corpse Blockade, but I'd rather not unless I have to. I think he's a fine dude, don't get me wrong. But we'll see if we can avoid playing him. Does not look like it. Okay, so this is 21. Now, we're probably playing this Corpse Blockade, and we would probably play this Beacon Apparition or this Orzhov Keyrune. Now, the thing about this is, are we hurting ourselves by not playing the Mind Grind and the Horror? And the question really is, I think probably not. I really like the deck as is. I do realize that these are bomby. We can't really abuse this, so this is really just a 4/4 that comes into play and hopefully deals with a problematic permanent. But then if we play that, we have to make our mana base work and play the Dimir Key Rune and the Dimir Guildgate. Mind Grind is a card I like bringing in the board, in out of the board in the mirror. So I think we have a very solid sideboard plan where we can go more blue and bring in some strikes, a Mind Grind, all these 6 cards essentially. But I think for now we just leave the deck as is. We're not going to play 16 lands, obviously, so I do need to make one cut quick. So thinking of which cards to really cut, it's come to my attention that these 3 are probably the weakest in the deck. Beacon Apparition, Corpse Blockade, and Izzet Keyrune. Now we have to admit that the format's pretty fast, so Corpse Blockade is a really good roadblock, especially since it usually trades with a lot in the format, the big, large, problematic guys. So I think he's in, and as much as I usually like to play 18 lands in a deck, I think Beacon Apparition is a pretty good trick. We're going to have cards in the graveyard because we're going to be killing so many things. But Orzhov Keyrune is definitely a thing as well. This doesn't turn on Battalion except for with the Daring Skyjack. However, it is a cheaper extort card. But this just keeps you in games. So I'm pretty torn. Let me know what you would have done here. I think we're keeping in the Corpse Blockade. I like Beacon Apparition, but I could see it coming in against Flyers over the mana fixing of the Orzhov Keyrune and the mana acceleration when you have, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 Extorters, which isn't great, but we also have Guildmage, which is pretty fantastic, and we want to get things going online. Okay, so we're gonna try this. We have a pretty solid sideboard plan against the slower decks. Against the faster decks, I'd say it's a coin flip, depending on our draws. Let's add some lands. They suggest 9/8 in favor of Plains, and I'm okay with that. We'll just sort by color just in case. It looks pretty close. It's like right down the middle, which is fine. The only real concern is that Grisly Spectacle costs double, but we have a Keyrune, so it's really, pretty solid. So let me know if you would have brought this in, if you would have been greedy and played the 2 really bomby blue cards, since they do kind of win games. But I'm going to go with consistency here. This has been the Mtg Noob. I'll be bringing you round 1 shortly. Thanks for watching, and please check out the Mtg Noob.